Hello, I would like to talk to you today briefly about the Archetypal Studies and Dreamwork program at Wisdom University. We at Wisdom are very interested in the larger patterns that underlie our lives and have such a profound effect on how collective cultural action unfolds in the waking world. And the most reliable entry that we have into the fascinating world of the unconscious are the dreams that we remember from sleep. The Wisdom University Dreamwork program, although there is a lot of interesting theory, emphasizes the particular skills and techniques of helping dreamers understand the deeper layers of meaning of their own dreams. The only one who can say with any certainty what the deeper meaning of his or her dreams may be is the one who has the dream to begin with. But without the flexibility and fresh eyes of other people, us dreamers will always end up being uniquely and selectively blind to the deeper meanings of our own dreams. I think the primary reason for that is mistaken literalism. And for us dreamers, the dream is a literal experience, so mistaken literalism is ultimately inevitable. But with the luxury of imagining each other's dreams, we are able to see past the mistaken literalism of the dreamer to the deeper layers of meaning that exist in the dream itself. What is true of the understanding of dreams is also true of the understanding of history and contemporary events. The same symbolic patterns that appear regularly in our individual dreams also appear regularly in the panorama of history and contemporary events. And the Wisdom University Archetypal Studies and Dream Studies program attempts to bring these two realms together so that the patterns themselves, the patterns that the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Gustav Jung called archetypes of the collective unconscious, so that those archetypal patterns will become increasingly conscious and visible as the result of our efforts and our study. One of the most important things to remember about the Dreamwork program is that although it includes a wide array of factual information, both historical and contemporary, the primary focus is on developing techniques that help us draw out the deeper meanings of each other's dreams. These patterns of deeper meaning will appear in larger social situations than the individual dreams, and one of the best ways of approaching them is through expressive arts. So the Archetypal Studies program has a great deal of space for expressive art and also has space for traditional academic studies as well. All of them come back to this primary connection that we make with the unconscious in the dreams that we remember from sleep. The techniques that are employed primarily in the Wisdom University studies emphasize projection. And the important thing to understand about projection, particularly in relation to these areas of study, is that it isn't something we do on purpose. It's a natural phenomenon, like the body digesting food or a wound healing. It is inevitable because it is unconscious. It is not subject to consideration and choice. It happens. And as we begin to understand how it happens, our ability to see past the dazzling surface of appearance is enriched and deepened. Much of our dream work is undertaken in groups which consciously acknowledge the inevitability of projection. When somebody tells a dream, anybody who is listening really has no choice except to imagine his or her own version of the dream. And since that's the only thing we can do to begin with, it also means the only thing we have to talk about after hearing the dream is our own imagined version of the dream, which is a functional definition of projection. Even if I am a dyed-in-the-wool, sincerely convinced Freudian behaviorist, and I believe that all the information I have about the unconscious in general and dreams in particular is scientific and objective, I still have no choice but to apply this seemingly objective information to my imagined version of my clients' and patients' dreams. So at the point where the work takes place, it is always projective. And the ways of work that we emphasize at Wisdom University have to do with embracing the inevitability of projection rather than pretending that it can be avoided. A great deal of creative energy is released by this acknowledgement, and that creative energy tends to broaden our understanding of the dreams that are shared. The same technique applies basically to the larger archetypal studies of history and culture. And as I said, in contrast to strictly academic programs, there is a tremendous space available for the deepening understanding of these larger social archetypal patterns to take shape in creative expressions of various kinds. So, in closing, I would like you all to consider whether or not these ideas are interesting to you, and to assure you that the self-selection process that brings people to Wisdom University really is superb. If you are interested in these issues, you will undoubtedly meet a number of other people, very interesting, enjoyable company people, brought together by the same program. Thanks for your attention.